And welcome to today's video. This is a B1 level business English lesson. Today we're going to continue talking about negotiations. We'll be learning the second conditional, also vocabulary for accepting and rejecting an offer, and also language for compromising in a negotiation. So when was the last time you negotiated something and what was the outcome? And here are some examples of maybe some negotiations. Answer these questions in the comments in order to generate some conversation. So we're going to review the first conditional, which we learned in the last video. We use the first conditional to talk about a situation and a result in the future. In a conditional sentence, there are two clauses, an if clause and a result clause. So we're going to complete each first conditional statement with a verb in the correct tense. So go ahead and try these on your own, and then you can restart when you're ready to check your answers. And also just some notes to remember that negative forms can be used in both clauses. The result clause can also come before the if clause, and other modal verbs can also be used in the result clause. All right, so if we work as quickly as possible, it will still take us a week to process the order. If you decrease the price by 5%, we will sign today. If you do not have time, I will write the report for you. If we miss the deadline, our manager won't be pleased. We will ship the order by the end of the day if you sign the contract now. If you place a large order, we may offer you a discount, and we will give you regular updates on the order status if you give us your contact details. And so there are different types of conditional sentences. So look at the example sentence below and then answer the questions. So the first conditional is if you sign the contract now, we will ship the order by the end of the day. So what verb forms are used in the if clauses? Well, here, if you sign is the present tense, the present simple. Under second conditional, if you accepted a price at $2 per unit, we would consider changing the delivery schedule. So here in the if clause, they use a past simple verb tense. What verb forms are used in the result clauses? So in the first conditional, it's we will. And in the second conditional, we would. And both sentences describe a situation and a result in the future. How do they differ in meaning? Think about the probability of the events occurring. Well, the first one, it's almost 100% likely. They're saying, if you sign the contract right now, we guarantee that we will ship the order by the end of the day. Here, it's a little more uncertain. If you were to accept a price of $2, then we would consider changing the delivery schedule. So a second conditional, the future event is not quite as certain as in the first conditional. Okay, the second conditional is also used in negotiations. We use the second conditional when we imagine a situation and result in the future that is unlikely, unreal, or impossible. Like first conditionals, second conditionals also have an if clause and a result clause. Here's some examples. If we had more time to negotiate, we would be able to reach an agreement. But the if statement is impossible. There is no more time to negotiate. I would offer you a discount if you ordered more units. So the speaker thinks it is unlikely that the other person will order more units. We can also use negative forms in the if clause and the result clause. We wouldn't sign another contract if you increase the price. Or if you increase the price, we wouldn't sign another contract. The second conditional is used because this is unlikely to happen. And the structure of the second conditional, we use if plus the subject plus a past tense verb. And then in the result clause, it's a subject. And then any one of these modal verbs, would, could, may, might, and then the base verb. If we had more time to negotiate, we would be able to reach an agreement. Remember, this is impossible. We don't have more time to negotiate. It is important to think about how the speaker perceives the situation. We use the first conditional for a possible situation, while we use the second conditional for an unlikely, unreal, or impossible situation. So if we had another location in France, we could compete in the European market. But I think this situation is unlikely. If we decrease our prices, the demand will increase. I think that this situation is possible and likely. So that's the first conditional. We can also use as long as and unless in the if clause. As long as has a similar meaning to if, but as long as means that the condition must continue for the result to continue in the future. As long as you order 200 units per month, the price per unit will remain at $1.35. If you order 200 units per month, the price will remain at $1.35. In other words, if the number of units changes in the future, the price will also change. Unless is used for negative conditions and has the same meanings as if or if not. Unless you offer a better price per unit, we will have to find another supplier for our next order. If you don't offer a better price per unit, we will have to find another supplier for our next order. All right, so now complete the sentences below with the correct forms of the verbs in parentheses. There's one quick vocabulary word. Warranty is a noun meaning a written promise of the maker's responsibility for the repair of replacement parts that don't work correctly. So go ahead and try those on your own and then restart when you're ready to see the answers. So number one, we would consider lower price per unit if you placed a large order. If you agree to provide free delivery, we will sign the contract today. Unless you give us a large discount, we will cancel the order. As long as the price stays the same, we will purchase 500 units from you each month. I think they would accept a higher price if we offered them an extended warranty. Would you sign today if we decreased the price by 5%? And we may be able to get started sooner if you pay an additional fee. All right, now there's some vocabulary, so go ahead and pause the video, try to match the vocabulary words with their meanings, and then restart when you're ready to check your answers. All right, so to make a compromise to reach an agreement would be to meet halfway. To present something for someone else to accept or reject is to offer. Arrangement or agreement is a deal. Happy to do something is willing. Something bought at a good price is a bargain. And acceptable to both sides is fair. Now complete the sentences with the correct word from the box. You may need to change the form of the words. So pause the video, try it on your own, and then restart in order when you're ready to check your answers. So we can offer you a discount of 10% if you order today. Are you willing to sign a contract today? I can't give you a 30% discount, but I can meet you halfway. How about 15%? I am not satisfied with this deal. Can you reduce the price? Yes, that is a fair price. It seems we are both satisfied. Those new gold earrings were only $10. You got a real bargain. Now, willing means to be ready or prepared to do something. And the structure for this is a to be verb plus willing plus an infinitive verb. So we are willing to lower the price if you can commit for 2 years. Willing to do something is not the same as wanting to do something. So conditional forms are often used in negotiations to make proposals and suggestions during the negotiations. So we would be willing to decrease the price if you increase your order. Would you agree to a price of $4 per clock if I could make an advance order of 10,000 clocks? So here are some of the vocabulary words and phrases you can use. If you can do X, then I'll do Y. We could probably do X if you do Y. And then asking, what if we, would you agree to, would you be able to, if we could do X, could or would you do Y? So in order to negotiate, you need to know how to accept an offer, reject an offer, and compromise. So some of the accepting phrases, that would be possible, that sounds fair to me, yes, I agree with that, I'm happy or willing to do that, I think we can do that. Rejecting, I'm sorry, I'm afraid I can't agree to that, sorry, but that's not possible. Unfortunately, I can't make that decision by myself, and that is the best we can do right now. Compromising, can you meet me halfway on this? Let's agree to meet halfway. Let's see if we can find some middle ground. So you're in negotiation and you make a proposal. What does the man's response mean? Does the other person's response mean yes or no? And explain your answer. If I place the order today, can you deliver tomorrow? He says, well, that might be difficult. Um, it kind of seems like it's not a definite yes. It's more like a maybe, but leaning toward a no. Um, but he's not saying it's impossible because he's using the modal verb might. So there is maybe a small possibility. It might be difficult. All right, so now we're going to read the text and um, figure out what that might be difficult means. Um, One definition here also, start off on the wrong foot is to make a bad start. So you can go ahead and pause the video and read this text on your own, or you can follow along as I read. Negotiating is hard, and negotiating with someone from another culture is even harder. Different native languages can lead to some trouble communicating, but also every country has its own negotiation style. First, the way that cultures view time can be different. For example, in some cultures, it is very important to be on time for all meetings. If you arrive late, you are already starting off on the wrong foot. In other cultures, arriving late may not be a problem at all. Second, there are also basic differences in communication styles between cultures. For example, if a Japanese supplier says that might be difficult, it means no. In another culture, that might be difficult can mean that there is still a chance it can work. Some countries are more direct than other countries in the way they communicate. Third, physical contact can also have an important role in negotiations. For example, in some cultures there is never any touching in business meetings, while in other cultures sitting very close to someone or touching someone on the shoulder is important to building a relationship. If this makes you uncomfortable, it may make the other person feel that you dislike them. It is important to remember all these differences when negotiating with someone from another culture. Now, are these statements true or false? And then correct the false statements and answer the questions. Problems negotiating with someone from another country is always caused by language barriers. Well, that's false. It's not always language barriers. It can be things like arriving on time, physical touch, um, the direct or indirect styles of communication. Different cultures have different views on the importance of being on time. That's true. The same expression can have different meanings in different cultures. That's true. And you should avoid physical contact when negotiating with someone from another culture. That's false because it depends on the culture. In some cultures it would be true, but in others it would be false. So you need to be aware of what the norms are in that particular culture that you're negotiating with. So have you ever negotiated with someone from another culture? If so, was there anything you found confusing about how they communicated? And what do you think is confusing about how people in your country communicate to those from different cultural backgrounds? And you can put your answers to those questions in the comments if you'd like. All right, so you're going to listen to a negotiation in a clothing store. So before you listen, let's discuss the questions below. So what is the most important thing you consider when shopping for clothes? Is it price, brand, quality, style, or something else? Have you ever negotiated when shopping for clothes? And how can customers make sure they get the best price? All right, we're going to listen to the conversation and then answer the questions.
Hello, how can I help you?
I'm interested in this sweater. Does it come in any other colors?
Yes, I have that sweater in gray, blue, and white. And I have a similar one in red.
How much is the red one?
$40.
That seems a little high. Can you go any lower on the price?
This is a high-quality wool sweater. That price is a bargain.
Okay, I'll look around some more unless you have a better offer.
Wait, I'm willing to lower the price a little bit. How about $35?
That's still more than I want to spend. If I take the gray one and the red one, can you offer me a better deal?
Well, okay. I could offer you both for $65. That's $15 cheaper than I usually sell them for.
Is that really the best you can do? I saw another person selling them for $30 each.
Okay. I can offer you both of them for $60, but only if you pay in cash. That's the best I can do.
Okay, that sounds fair to me. You've got a deal.
Okay, so what color sweaters does the seller have available? He has gray, blue, white, and then a similar one in red. How many sweaters does the customer decide to buy? She agrees to buy 2 sweaters. What price do the seller and the customer agree on? It was $60 for both, or $30 each. And how is the customer going to pay? She's going to pay in cash. All right, so we're going to listen again, and this time you can fill in the gaps with the missing words and follow along.
Hello, how can I help you?
I'm interested in this sweater. Does it come in any other colors?
Yes, I have that sweater in gray, blue, and white. And I have a similar one in red.
How much is the red one?
$40.
That seems a little high. Can you go any lower on the price?
This is a high-quality wool sweater. That price is a bargain.
Okay, I'll look around some more unless you have a better offer.
Wait, I'm willing to lower the price a little bit. How about $35?
That's still more than I want to spend. If I take the gray one and the red one, can you offer me a better deal?
Well, okay. I could offer you both for $65. That's $15 cheaper than I usually sell them for.
Is that really the best you can do? I saw another person selling them for $30 each.
Okay. I can offer you both of them for $60, but only if you pay in cash. That's the best I can do.
Okay, that sounds fair to me. You've got a deal.
All right, so now you can write your own dialogue of a negotiation. Um, you've been working on you've been working for your current employer for 4 years. You are currently paid $15,000 annually and feel that you deserve a raise. You arrange a meeting with your HR manager to discuss this. You looked at positions with other companies and feel that $18,000 is a fair salary. So try to persuade your manager to offer you the highest raise possible. And as you write your dialogue, make proposals, accept, reject, compromise to get the raise you deserve, and remember to use conditional forms when you negotiate. And that brings us to the end of today's video. Please like, subscribe, share, leave a comment or question, and thanks for watching. I will see you next time. Bye.